This conference will now be recorded.
Navya, can you give me the presenter access? I hope everyone able to see my screen, right? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Rupesh. Navya, can we start the session?
Yes, Shrikant.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let me introduce myself, team. Myself, Srikanth. Here, almost I'm holding 12 plus years of experience on IT, especially on MuleSoft. I'm holding 7 years of experience. Before I'm going ahead, I would like to hear from you. What is your experience? How many years of experience you are holding on IT? Are you from the technology background or not? This is what I would like to hear you from. Okay, so that I can drive the session as smooth as possible. Okay. Uh, Anyone? Would you like to go first?
Yeah. Hi, sir. This is Rupesh. I'm working
Okay.
in Cognizant as a backend developer, and I have 2 months of experience. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else?
Hi Srikanth, my name is Shrika. I have
Okay.
3 years experience in international chat and email chat and process. So I would like to switch to the MuleSoft. That is the reason I came to.
Okay. And Venkat? Venkat, are you there? You are on mute. 1 minute, team. Sorry, guys. So I think Venkat is dropped off. Is that correct, Navya? Okay. Okay, team. So let's understand what is a MuleSoft, and as part of this training, I'm going to cover what is a MuleSoft, where we are going to use, how we are going to use, and history of the MuleSoft. What are the advantages and disadvantages, and within the training, how am I going to take you through the entire MuleSoft? Okay, and by using the use cases or problem statement, and what kind of concepts we are going to cover as part of this training, and some kind of real-time projects which I'm going to what kind of real-time projects I'm going to walk you through, and also as part of training what you can expect from me. These are all the things we can discuss. Along with that, a sample project we can execute within the first class, I'm saying in today's class itself, so that you can understand how you can learn the MuleSoft. You can set expectation by yourself. Will that be helpful for you, or how easy this is to learn by yourself. Okay, so let me go to my first slide. So just now I discussed myself, and let me tell you what is a, I hope you're able to see my screen, right, everyone? Okay. What is a MuleSoft? MuleSoft is nothing but a integration tool, also we called as middleware integration tool. You can ask me a question, what is a middleware integration tool? It sits between the source and the target systems. And what are the source systems? It could be anything where you can take the data. Okay, it could be web applications, SAP or Salesforce or file system or Jira or sorry, QuickBooks or some kind of tools are readily available, or Workday or any kind which you can take the data, and that we call as source systems. And the target system is nothing but it could be database or SAP or Salesforce, anything which you can publish the data we called as target systems. Okay, so in between this MuleSoft, what it can do is it will transform the data to target system understandable format. For example, if you are collecting data from the web page like registration data, username, post name, last name, email, or any sort of data you are taking, you can't send the data to the database directly. Okay, so by using the MuleSoft, it will convert this data into the database or Salesforce understandable format, whichever the target system, doesn't matter. It will convert automatically into the target system understandable format, and it will save the into those systems. Okay, so for this, it will uses the different kind of frameworks and connectors, components, and lot more others. Okay, and MuleSoft providing connectors which is used to connect to the source system and target system, and components which is using to transform the data into desired format. Okay, it will do all these kind of things. Okay, so now where it is using exactly in the real time, right? So you may have seen that the leads information, or maybe in your day in day out, some people they may collect your first name last name details, right? Those details they will store in a MySQL database or Salesforce for further communication with you. Okay, and also whatever the projects has been developing from the Java, .NET or Python, all those projects are migrating from the standalone programming languages to the this MuleSoft, because in the standalone programming languages, it is going to take a lot of development efforts to complete the projects. But by using the MuleSoft, you can reduce the development cost by quarter. I'm say within the, if it is taking 100 days of time to complete a project, by using the MuleSoft, you can reduce it to the 25 days. And also you can reduce it to the resources as well. Okay. So this is about the MuleSoft, where we are going to use, how we are going to use. Okay. Any questions on this? Okay. So now let me go to my second slide. So as I told you, right, to extract, to transform the data, how it is doing, right? What kind of stages it has to perform that. Okay. As you see left side of my screen, MuleSoft, it sits exactly over here. Okay, in between. On the top hand side, it will become a source system or target system, because if you take the data, it will become a source system. If you give the data, it will become as a target system. Either it will take Magento, Magneto, and PayPal, and Citibank or HDFC Bank, or you can say the PayPal or PhonePe. All these systems will be integrated by using the MuleSoft. In the olden days, point-to-point connections are there. For example, PhonePe to HDFC Bank one project, and PhonePe to Citibank one project, like that. Now, all of them will go through the MuleSoft as a centralized service mechanism, and it will exchange the information in straight away. Okay, so very first stage, it will extract the data from the source system and transform it, and it will analyze target system understandable format, and by using the data sense language, either based on the business requirement, either you will eliminate some of the data or you may add some more data, like converting into the uh, uh, currencies, change the date time formats, like that. Once it is done, and it will send it to the target system. And what type of data you are going to use over here? The data formats, we call them as XML data or JSON data or EDI, HL7. It can support any sort of format which is available right now in the world. Okay, so how it is going to transform the data? It is going to use the data view language, which is inbuiltly supported by the MuleSoft. By using the drag and drop functionality, it will convert, or it will generate the data view language, data view code. Sometimes you may need to adjust based on your requirement. Okay, and once it is converted, once the transformation is done, okay, it will publish it. Okay, and by using the API managers, it will expose, for example, from the source system, you can't take the data directly. Okay, or target system, you can't publish the data directly. It will uses the APIs, which we called as RESTful or SOAP, and behind the scene in each and every connector, it will uses these things to publish or to retrieve the data from the source and target systems. Okay, any questions on this? Hmm? Okay, so far seems to be you are able to understand, right? Okay, so far we discussed about what is MuleSoft and how the MuleSoft is interacting with the source and target systems to collect the data and publish the data. Okay, and now, so each and every project, so let's understand the problem statement before we are going ahead. So any company, any other organization or company, they don't want to move. I'm saying they basically, any organization directly they won't jump into the these kind of tools. Okay, so first they will analyze what is the advantages for them to migrate or to use MuleSoft, right? So if you see any one of the standalone programming languages or any other existing projects, they have they has to implement some of these projects, some of the code for each and every project. For example, authentication. Authentication, sorry, my apologies. Authentication or authorization is very important for the any project, which it means you are entering the username and password, right? So to recognize you are the person for this account, it will use the authorization and authentication concepts. For every project, they have to implement this kind of mechanism to safeguard their customers, right? By using the Java, .NET, or any other technology. So it is a lot of development cost for each and every company or project. To reduce that, if they use the MuleSoft, they don't want to write the single line of code, just they need to do the configuration. Just it's a plug and play. That's why there is a one reason to migrate into the or to use the MuleSoft. And also the validation is one of the vital role to it is playing in the of projects. For example, if you enter the username and password, that is fine. If you enter wrong username and password, and instead of username and password, if you enter some characters or illegal characters to hack the system, right? It will compromise. Like hackers, they will do basically these kind of activities to compromise the target system. Instead of username and password, they will use the SQL injection, also we called as SQL queries. They will pass instead of username and password in the olden days. Okay, so now it was protected by using the validation techniques, and still some of the validations are failing from the API side. I mean to say behind the scene. Okay, so to even those services are protected within the MuleSoft. Okay, and also if you see some of the applications, they may respond very slowly, right? Because maybe it's a poor performance, like IRCTC or Indian sites. If you see, they were loading very slowly in the olden days, right? Because they don't have the caching mechanism. So caching mechanism, what does it mean? If you use any Amazon or eBay or Flipkart, whatever the static content which is not going to change frequently, those kind of content, they will keep it in the caching so that it won't hit the database until unless it changes. Okay, so that it can load the application or web pages very fastly. Okay, these kind of functionality also, it is you don't need to do anything, just do the configuration like that. Even testing your application, all these testing or entity mapping, or you can say that uh, mapping the input data to the target system, everything, it will take lot of development cost for all these concepts. MuleSoft is providing all these things dynamic in nature. You don't need to worry about it. Not only these things, there are so many features which is available, like converting the XML data to the JSON data, or converting the HL7 data to the XML data. All these things, a single developer in the standalone programming languages, he may took more than a month. Okay, but by using the MuleSoft, he may get completed just 2 to 3 days. Okay, so because of all these complexities and problems, okay, most of the organization, they started leveraging this MuleSoft into their projects. And also any project, if it takes more than 6 months to 1 year of time, or that is that is best fit for them to go to the market to encash or to attract the clients. Okay, before they are going to change, because mindset, because every few years the customer's mindset will change based on the reports I'm saying. So to be at the current phase of the current user mindset or user interest, if they capture it, so that it will be helpful for their growth. Otherwise, if the, for example, a project is taking to complete more than 10 years or 15 years of time, the entire generation going to change. And if they go with the live at the time, the customers may be or may not be adopt use those kind of products or web pages or products or whatever it is. Okay, that's the reason. Also, companies are started using this MuleSoft. That's why you can see a lot of traction or demand, you can say that, in the market. Okay. Any other questions on this page? So if you interact me on in any time, okay, I'm very much happy to answer, because I love to answer any sort of questions, because at the end of the day you have to understand what is and where, how this MuleSoft, so that it will be helpful for you, because I know everything. So I need to pass my knowledge to you people. How could I pass? If you ask the questions, then only I can pass. Okay. Anything? Okay. Seems to be you are aware of all these things. Well and good. Okay. So I'm going to my second slide, last slide. Okay. So far we discussed about the some of the problems, how MuleSoft is offering those solutions to the projects or companies or organizations, right? So still that is from the project perspective, right? But at the end of the day, cost oriented, how it is going to helpful for them. Any organization, they will concentrate on the revenue side and usage side and support side, and all those things very important for any other organization. Okay. So if you see, MuleSoft supports more than 500 readily available connectors, which you can use to connect any sort of system in the world. If you go with any other competitors, like we will discuss those competitors next slide, they do not support these many number of connectors. Even though if they support, they will charge extra on top of the license. Okay. But MuleSoft, it is a one-time charge and you can use lifetime. You can connect to the any sort of system without paying anything. Okay. And also to use these connectors, some of the competitors, they don't have the graphical user interface, which it means the GUI, you can't use the drag and drop functionality. But MuleSoft has that capability. Just you can drag and drop and configure it for the business needs. Okay. And also, even after these features, the license cost is very cheaper than their competitors. That's why most of the projects are migrating to the MuleSoft, because they don't need to pay huge amount to implement their projects. And also it will be cost saving for them. Okay. And also, even if there is a problem, even if all these features is available, but still the companies may think about, if I have if I face a problem, whom I have to reach out, right? So especially this is for the developer side. Developers, once they start the developing, they may face a lot of problems. It should have a community support. Once if you face a problem, if you Google it, you should find the solution. If you do not find the solution, obviously developers won't show any interest. Even if you have all these features to implement in your project, if the developers are not there, it won't be succeeded. For that reason, MuleSoft spent a lot of time to build their community to support the problems and fixing the problems and providing the solutions in the Google or their own community channels, so that the developer don't need to struggle a lot to fix those problems. Okay. And also the last important point, this MuleSoft is very lightweight and you can deploy any application over here, or you can run your application or any sort of environment without any complexities. This is one of the advantages for the developer, and that's the reason it is become as a developer friendly. That's why you can see lot of people are moving to the MuleSoft development because it is easy, low code, easy to fix the problems, and you can grab the projects easily, and you can crack the jobs easily. These are all the reasons. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So as I told you, right, who are all their competitors? Here I mentioned very few of them. There are so many other competitors like TIPCO, Web Methods, and Delboomi, WSO2, Web Methods, Orkill Service Bus, IIBs, IBM IIBs. All of them are the competitors for the MuleSoft. Okay. So some of them has the GUIs, some of them has license cost is very high, and some of them are they are not, they don't have the huge community support. Okay. So very tight competitor for the MuleSoft is Delboomi. But so far, Delboomi captured 30% of the market and MuleSoft captured 70% of the market. That's the reason you are seeing the huge many number of jobs in the market. Okay, so that's all about these things. Okay, this is my last and final slide. Okay, so MuleSoft, once the organizations started using the MuleSoft, what kind of benefits they can get? So far we discussed about why they need to choose the MuleSoft, what kind of advantages they have, right? And how much user friendly it is, this MuleSoft, and where we are going to use and how we are going to use. But once you developed your projects by using the MuleSoft, what kind of consequences or what kind of benefits as a client side you are going to provide? That is an important for the client. So far we discussed about organizations and developer side, right? And MuleSoft side. Still we need to discuss about the client side, right? So if you see a client, if they want to, for example, so many people are using the SAPs or mainframes, or so many legacy systems are still present, right? So by using this MuleSoft, it is going to helpful for their clients to integrate any sort of legacy systems, old systems. They can easily capture the data and transform it, or it will help them to migrate from the old system to the new systems, right? And also, as I mentioned, developer productivity will drastically increases. So basically, he don't need to spend a lot of time on the configurations and problem fixing and identifying the solutions. So just you need to spend on the business logic. That's it. Remaining everything will be taken care by the MuleSoft. Okay. As a result, developer can innovate new integrations or new solutions for their problems. He is going to get a lot of time. Okay. And also the development or project delivery will be increased a lot. As a final result, customer is happy, developer is happy, as an organization, as a service provider, both of them are happy. Okay, so I think that's all about the presentation side. If you have any questions, I'm very much happy to answer. If you do not have, I'm going to show you the sample projects we will implement within the today's itself. Okay, what kind of concepts we are going to cover as part of this training, and what kind of other features I'm going to provide you will discuss in this within the next few minutes. Anyone? Shekhar or Rupesh?
I have no doubts from my side.
Okay. Shekhar?
Hello?
Yeah,
No,
Shekhar.
sir. Yeah,
Okay.
fine, sir.
Okay, thank you. Very good. So now let's see. So if you see over here, I'm going to run my MuleSoft application. Okay. 1 minute. Oh, it is not extracted. Okay. Let me extract over here. Mm, let me delete this one, my old one. Oh, it is there. Okay. This we called as any pointer studio. Also, some of the people they are from the core development background. They called as Eclipse. Here in this application, in this tool, we will develop our projects. And the course curriculum, what we are going to cover as part of this training, already you may had received it. Okay. So if you are not, let me know. I will share with you over here. Okay. So this is my new workspace. I'm going to create a new project for us. Okay. This is for high five to MySQL integration. Okay. Okay. So normally this project will be look like this way. As part of this training, I'm going to cover how to create the projects, how many ways we have, what are all the content which we need to fulfill our job. And as part of this one, uh, we are going to cover each and every module which is defined apart from the service now and NetSuite and Workday. Apart from these three, and we are going to cover each and every module which is defined. Okay, and in the core part level, we are going to discuss each and every point. Okay, so that it will be helpful for you to compete more than 4 years of experience candidate in the market. Okay, and so let's see how to create a sample project. These are all the things. Apart from those things, I'm going to walk you through some of the non-important concepts, a little bit important, but some of the things like testing is very much important, but it's okay to know some organizations, they may implement the testing, some of them they are not. So those things also we are going to discuss, like M units or test cases we are going to discuss. And also as a real-time developer, you should aware the real-time scenarios, real-time concepts like CI/CD integration, like how will you deploy your application, all those things we are going to discuss. Okay, and along with that, we are going to discuss about the APIs like RESTful and SOAP-based things we are going to discuss. And the last and final data view, we are going to spend good amount of time on this data view and RAML side. Okay, I would say RESTful and SOAP-based web services. Those are all the concepts which I'm going to cover. The same thing you can see as a curriculum is available in the website. Okay, let's see very simple hello world project how we are going to deal. Okay, for example, just you can see that. So there is a high file. site like social media website. So here the requirement is once the user enter these details, okay, it has to once click on the sign up button, the records has to store into the MySQL database. Okay, for that reason, you have to provide a listener. Okay, so you can just drag and drop your listener over here so that here you are going to provide any address application address. So this address could be localhost 8081, but in the real time will be the different, and you don't need to worry about all those things. We have hardly 20 minutes time and I can't, it is not possible to me to explain each and everything. Just I want to show you how the project is going to be look like, what is an integration, how you are going to get the data, how you are going to save the data into the database or some other systems. Okay, so now your application is going to listen, okay, on this address. Okay, so your address is now http localhost 8081 5. Okay, so in this address anyone send a request, the request will come to your application in the real time. Instead of localhost you can see the TCS or Amazon like that. Instead of this entire part you can see TCS, Amazon, Flipkart, anything like that. Okay, so now we have the address now. So now we need to use the database, okay, to store the data. Okay, so for the database you don't have here, so I'm going to use this module into, I'm adding this module into my project. Now after that, I'm going to insert, I'm going to use the insert operation to insert the records. Okay, so as I mentioned, right, just you need to do the configuration. For that, click on a plus button. Here, what type of database you have to choose is a MySQL. If you have, if it is a RKL or anything, you have to choose specific things. Okay, then you have to configure some of the details. Okay, so this is the, just you need to click on the finish button, then it will be added to your project as a dependency. Okay, like this you have to configure in your projects. Okay, this is localhost. In the real time it will be different, it will be a static IP address or it's a domain name. Okay, so here all these details will be provided by your um, administrator. Okay, so here my database sits over here. Let me show you my database so that it will helpful for you. Okay, so this is our dummy database. Okay, this is my new schema is my, just assume that it's my database. Okay, so here you don't need to worry about it. So just for the sake of interest, I'm going to take these details. We are going to use this information later. Okay, I will explain. Okay, so click on the test connection. So what it will do, whatever the details which you entered, it will tell that all these details are correct or not. Now it is saying that test connection is successful. Okay, click on OK now. Then click on OK. Now, now you need to insert the records into the database, right? So now do one thing. So this is we called as insert query. This insert kind of queries will be prepared by your DBA, or if you are an expert, and you can also prepare these details. Okay, so once you are done by copy pasting like this is called positional parameters. So that SQL injection, one of the technique hackers will use, okay, to compromise your database. To avoid that, you need to follow the standards. Okay, So I know I can understand it is a little bit difficult for you. Okay, don't worry. I will explain all those details once you started uh, uh, joining in our sessions. Okay, so this is just copy paste this query. Okay, so once you are done, just standardize this query so the end user, the other developers can easily understand, easily read this data. Okay, okay. Now we are done this part. Okay, so just that's it. Now I want to test my application. Is it really working or not? Right? It has some problems. I'm not provided any values over here. Okay. Still, I want to tell you how to apply changes. Okay. Now, I'm going to run my application in the debug mode so that you can see what is happening over here. Okay. As I told you, this is my address, right? So I want to, if anyone sends the data will come to this system. Okay. Now let's go to the web page. Okay. So you can fill all the details and click on the sign up button. Okay. So I'm going to do a small hack over here. This is called as cross-site scripting. People normally, the hackers, normally they will download these pages and send as a link to you, and you will tempt that if it is a banking application, you will tempt to fill all the details. Once you fill all the details, then you will be get compromised. Okay, so now let me do that. Now click on the inspect. So here what I am going to do that is, so I'm going to change the address, the action address. Okay, so that if I click, if I change this thing, okay, then if I click on the sign up button, then the request will come to my machine because this is in my local. Okay, so I'm going to enter all these details. So the rate gmail.com, just I'm entering dummy details. Okay, uh, Bangalore. Okay, okay. So just I'm entering all the dummy details. So now if I click on the, if you see over here, it is not showing any dotted lines over here. Okay, now let me click on the sign up button. Now, okay, invalid date of birth. Okay, why? How come? Oh, 1987. How come? This is so strange. It should normally work as it is expected. Let me do other way around. I'm going to use the incognito window so that you can see else. Well, 60 email inspect, and let me change. So sorry, my apologies. I don't know why it is behaved like that. Sorry. HTTP localhost 8081 and -5. 8081 or 8085. Let me see. 8081 only. Okay, good. Now let me send the request. User registration failed. Why? Oh, okay. Let me add city. Okay. Okay. Let me see if I received the request or not. Yes, I received the request. You can see whatever the data which I entered, you can see over here. Okay. It is difficult for you to read this format even for me as well, right? So most of the people in the real time, they will use the postman to send this kind of request, because here if you see, okay, sometimes maybe it is completed the UI, or sometimes the source system may not be available. So to fulfill that thing, basically, so they will take this data. Okay, they will use the postman is a tool which it will mimic the behaviors. Okay, so like user interface, how it is sending the data. Now the same way they are going to send the data. For example, http http localhost 8081 and -5, right? Then they will use the this way. Okay. Now you can see the data, it is structured format, right? In the real time, they can use other way around. I mean to say, whatever the data which is sent, okay, they will prepare it as it like this, and they will click on the send button. Okay. Then the request, it will come to the system. Okay. Now let me complete this request. Okay, now it is failing because we are not properly configured. Okay, now let me send this from here, and also you can see the same thing. Okay, click on send now. So you can ask me the question again, how to the people will do that. So basically in the UI side, once I provided my URL localhost, these people write the code. For example, you can see over here, they can generate either Node.js or PHP, whatever the thing which is the UI application is developing, they will prepare, they will copy this code and they will put it in their HTML page and they will publish it. This is the way they will do that. Okay, this is my URL, right? So like that. Right now I send a request. Right now I'm not saved any records over here. Okay, if you see, let me see. Okay, it doesn't has any records now, right? You can see, right? Now system does not understand what it is coming from here to here, right? So now what I'm going to do, that is I'm going to use a transform message to send the data from here to here. Okay, so now let me use it. Okay, there is other ways also there. So let me show you from here. So what I'm going to do, that is now I'm going to take all these values. Okay, normally in the real time you can use the drag and drop functionality, but here I'm going to do other way around. Okay, so now I'm going to say that I'm going to use the like this. I'm going to prepare. Okay, just bear with me. Okay, oh sorry. Let me prepare in the notepad, or let me take some example from the internet also. Okay, so yeah, let me explain from the internet so that you will also understand. uh, okay, I have the example, but I want to show you. Okay, how am I going to deal in the real time, right? MuleSoft insert. Okay, so that how easy it is to work with. Okay, this is the way you are going to create the tables. So this is a simple example. Okay, so now they are saying that I need to use as this format. Okay, I'm going to copy from here to my local system. Okay, so I'm very fast on this area because I know very well, right? That is the reason. Okay, in your case, you need to, once you get trained, you will be comfortable more than me. Okay, so now let me copy paste all these values so that it will be mapped. Okay, so now, and also I'm doing the same way. Okay, so that the transform message will be taken place. Okay, so let me just, I'm placing the same thing from here to here. Okay, so let me do one thing. Okay, so all of them are string messages. Sorry, shit. I need to do again. Count. Let me add one more value. Okay, so I'm using some kind of text. Okay, so that it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, now we have done these changes. Okay, like very simple format, right? Now let's close this one. Okay, let me fail it. Okay, so now if I run this system, and it will insert the records into the database. Okay, after that I will change it. If I use the transform message, let me try to use the transform message. Now it's deployed. So far we hard coded the values. Let me send the request again so that it will send the records. First let's test with sample data. Okay, now I send the request. I received the request from here. Okay, why it is causing the error message? Let me see. Okay, let me complete this thing. So the problem over here is they are saying that string. Okay, so it is expecting string, but unexpectedly details are wrong. Okay, let me see that. And also some text. Let me try. Okay, and once it is saved, then we can try to resend it. Okay, it is deploying now. Let me send the request. Okay, so let me go over here. Let me put it. Oh, sorry. Shit. Let me change it. So in the real time, it will be different. Just I want to show you the real time kind of scenarios. That's why I picked up this scenario. Okay. Just give me a minute. Okay. Why? 1 minute, team. Maybe from the database, let me check all of these table. This table is correct format or not. Alter the table. Yeah, where characters only. This is strange. Why it is not working? Something is not working. It is behaving weirdly. That's why just bear with me. Otherwise, we will hard code the values. We will send it. Okay. Okay. Everything is properly configured. Seems to be okay. Yeah. Now I think just a small enable button. I think I forgot to do. Let me save the changes. Let me redeploy the application. Let me send it again. Okay, now there is no errors, right? Now, whatever the data which I sent, now it is not published, but it is inserted a record. Why? Because I hard coded the values. Now you can see a record, right? Now, let me add a transform message. Okay, transform message. Okay, now let's see what it is expecting. Okay, so here let me take out. So either this way, I think manage the review the updated module. Just a minute. So unfortunately, this part is not running properly. The data view part, I'm saying data sense language, which is not working properly. I'm going to use alternative way. So let me first identify the changes which we need. Okay. So what we need is we need to use the real-time data to insert into the database, right? So for that reason, let me save the changes. Now, let me send the request again so that I can use dynamic data to send into my system. Okay. So let me send the request again. Oh, sorry. Let me send it again. Now I got the data what I want, right? This data is sits in the attributes section. Now if I want to collect the data, so what I want, for example, I need the display value or email. Let me copy the expression. Okay. So if I copy the expression, then where I want to update, if I want to update over here, just replace over here. Okay. That's it. Now what else I want? I want the password. Just copy the expression from here and where I want to update real time. So if I want enter real time, just I will pass it like this. Okay. And what else I want? Okay. For example, I want the city. Okay. Copy the expression and put it over here wherever I want. If you see, now I save the changes. Now whenever in the real time a user click on the button, particular button, okay, the changes, the data will come to my system directly. Now let's see. Now if I let before I'm going ahead, let me delete all the existing records from the database so that we have a clarity what it is doing. Okay, so delete statement, so paste it. Okay, so that I'm going to delete all the records. Okay, now select. Okay, so sorry, just a minute. I think I need to commit it. Okay, then commit. Okay, now it is performed, and let's see again. Why this is not deleting? Let me drop it. Truncate the table. Okay. Now I don't have any records over here, right? Now let me send the data. Okay. Now I received the request and I'm completing it. Now if you go in database, you can see the result. Okay. Now you can see my details were entered into the database. Now you can understand how simple this is, right? Just it's a matter of seconds. You integrated with UI and database, right? Any questions, Shaker? So
No, sir.
that's all for now. So the batch is going to start from Monday onwards. So uh, if you are interested, and you can join from Monday onwards. Okay. Anything
Okay,
else?
sir.
Yeah. So that's all for today, and we'll meet you on Monday. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yep. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.